Hello and welcome to Matrix Snippets. In this session, we'll discuss Add Edit. Add Edit button can be found on your menu bar at the top of the page on your home page, or actually on any page that you're on within Matrix. You can get to the Add Edit button, click on it. You're presented with the listing input page where you can select Add New, Edit Existing. If you have listings already in the system, they'll be in the drop-down list for Quick Modify. If you're an Office admin, you should see all the Office listings in this drop-down list. We're going to start off with a new listing, so we'll click Add New. Select the property category from the list available. We're going to go with Single Family. Once you click on Single Family or any of the other property categories, you're presented with Add a New Cross Property Listing. If you want to fill from a cross property, which is the copy function, you can type in the MLS number and click on the Fill From. Make sure that when you select a property type, you select the correct property type. It will allow you to copy from a condominium, but you're only going to get the fields that are available in both property types. Okay, so just remember when you're cross property filling, you select the correct property type. Okay, this allows you to search through the system as well if you want to find a property and you don't know the ML number. And if it's your listing, you will be able to copy it over. Otherwise, you won't be able to. You can also have the option to start with a blank listing or fill from tax mapping, which is realist. In this session, we're going to start from a blank listing. On the first page, you're presented with the listing agent information. If you are the listing agent entering it, your listing ML number should show up under list agent MLS ID. If you're an office admin or if you're working with a firm, then you should put in the MLS ID number of the agent who belongs to the property. And you can do a quick find right here. If you don't know the agent's number, you can quick find here. Click on that. It brings you to an option to search by name. Run the search and bring it in and click Fill. If there's a co-listing, you're going to do the same process, same thing with a showing associate. You're going to follow down with the list date, and everything that is in yellow is required. And this form that's in Matrix also follows the new data input form, so you should be able to follow it right along and tab through each property field to enter in the listing. Once you're done with this page, as you scroll down, make sure you get down to the bottom. You'll notice down here at the bottom, at any point in time, if you want to come back to it, you can click Save as Incomplete. You can also validate it, and what this does, it goes through the entire listing sheet and checks to make sure all the required fields are entered. It doesn't validate that you put in correct information. It just validates that the information for the required fields has been completed. You can cancel the input at any time. That means it wipes it right out completely. And you can only submit a listing if all the required fields are completed. Okay, so this will be available on every page that you go to. And just pay attention to Save as Incomplete, because this is a very valuable tool for you later on. All right, we're going to go back up to the property information, and this particular page, the property information, is the most important page on your listing input. You need to remember that you have to map the property manually. So in order to map the property manually, you need to put in all the address information. And I'm going to use a property which it doesn't seem to find for whatever reason, and that's the office information. Put in the zip code. I'm not going to fill out the assessor's plat because I'm really just going to show you how to map the property. Now once I put in the address, I'm going to come over here to the map section and I'm going to click on Get Lat Long from Address. Okay, and there's another option over here that we'll use in a second. If you click on Get Lat Long and it doesn't find the property, you need to map it manually. Okay, and that's where this other Set Lat Long manually comes into play. And this actually is a very nice feature, and I like this in Matrix because it forces the person to actually look at the mapping and make sure that it's in the right location. Too many times listings are put into the system and nobody checks it, and it's mapped in a totally wrong location, and people are wondering why they get driving directions for something that's out in the middle of East Timbuktu. So we're going to click on Set Lat Long manually. It's going to bring up another pop-up window. And you can see you bring up a little map with the grid. Now these are the grids that are actually the property boundaries. So if it brings it up fairly close to it, you're all set. if it brings it up in the center of Rhode Island because it really can't find it, it's a new development, you have to know where that property is in general and then zoom in till you get to that location. And you've got your zoom in buttons up here. But you notice this little triangle that says click any parcel for parcel details. This is a new feature that lets you verify that the property parcel that you selected is the correct one. And you notice this is 15 Messenger Drives. Well, I know that's not the one because I did it on 100 Bignall Street. So I'm going to go over here and check this one out. Okay, that's the correct one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here to where it says place new pin after I verified that I have the right location. Place new pin. Your cursor turns into a crosshair, and I'm going to select and place the pin there. And that's definitely the correct 100 Bignall Street, Warwick, owned by Statewide Multiple Listing, and it matches with what I have. Now you can also look at the lot dimensions on this as well, and they'll give you the lot dimensions on the mapping. Once you have that position all set, you're going to come over here and click Done. Once it's done, it's positioned properly, your mapping is all set, you can continue through the rest of the form till it's completed. Okay? Now there's another feature in here called Choose Google Street View. If you've got it mapped correctly and you click on Google Street View, now they're totally separate maps, and this is the view. I can set this view to whatever options Google actually gives me, and I can move it around to set the view that I want to see. Now I've already done this once, so this is as close as I'm going to get to it, and I'm going to leave that view that I just selected. I'm going to click OK, and that'll be the Google Street View that comes up. Now the next time you come back and do this property again, it should have that same street view available to the client when they go and look at the Google Street View on the inside matrix or the listing that you send them. So once that's completed, you're going to tab through all these other options, fill in all the yellow squares because they're all required. Let's go back to rooms for a quick second. Now rooms is a new feature. It's a repeater field, which means you can keep adding on rooms until you've exhausted your possibilities. The level that it's on, first level, family room, whatever it is. If you want more, click on the little more button over here to the right. If that particular property isn't room isn't one that you want, you can go back and make the reselection, but you can click on more, family room on the first level. Let's go, there's a Florida room on the first level. In the two fields that are required are room type and room level. It would be nice to have all this additional information. I think it would be helpful to your person looking at your house to decide whether the room's big enough for them or even an option. I know it requires a little bit more work, but let's see, full bath. There's a full bath on the second level, and you can continue right down the line. If you want to delete one, just click on the delete button. Once you have all your rooms in place, continue on. And site and energy, these are the green fields. By default, green construction is selected as a default and required. And the reason for that is because there was a green construction value in the type field before, and we moved it over here so it's in one location, not in multiple locations. Once you've completed your listing, even if you have all the required fields completed, I would recommend saving it as incomplete. When you save it as incomplete, it allows you to go in and add your listings, photos, and supplements. So I'm going to click Save as Incomplete. Now at this point I can go in and add photos, and I can add supplements. Once I have both those completed, I can submit the listing. Now you want to have these photos available right away because you don't have a lot of time before you have to submit the listing by MLS rules. I think it's 48 hours, 24, but don't quote me on that rule. So if you've saved it as incomplete and you want to come back to your listings, now you can go back to Add Edit, come in with your photos. You've already entered them in. I'm going to come back here to 100 Bignall Street. Select that, go back to the full form, which is the single family form. Make sure everything's completed. I've added my photos in here. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to submit listing to make it live. So I've entered the listing information, saved it as incomplete, gone back and added my photos and my attachments. Once I've added my attachments and photos, I'm going to submit the listing as completed, and then it goes out all at once as one package. If you have any questions, call up tech support 401-785-9898, select option 3, and they'll be able to help you walk through the process. Have a great day.